It's gospel hour with Kayla J. It's gospel hour with Kayla J. It's gospel hour with Kayla J. Hey, and welcome back to Kayla J's Gospel Hour right here on WURD 96.1 FM, 900 AM, Progressive Black Talk Media. I am so excited, y'all, to bring forth my next guest. If you remember, a few weeks ago, we had on Pastor Jeffrey Gaskins for our Preaching Through the Pandemic series, and he talked about the amazing ministry that their church has in regards to prayer. Right. And listen, I'm excited to bring on the first lady of that church, the backbone of the prayer ministry, in my opinion. She could correct me if I'm wrong, but she just released a book, and she's going to tell you all about it. It's a prayer devotion, and it's going to bless your soul. So please help me welcome to the WURD stage, Lady Vanessa Gaskins. Hello.
Hi, thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
I'm excited to have you here. I am so excited. Before we even dive deep into the book and all the goodness about prayer, have to ask you this question on a scale from 1 to 10, Lady Gaskins, with all that's going on with the pandemic and the variants, masking, unmasking, new vaccinations, booster shots. How do you feel?
I feel good. I'm a eighth grade school teacher, so we're back in the trenches, and it's just taking one day at a time. It's a new normal, but it's working. We're taking it with stride.
That's good. That's
Yeah.
good. Um, so tell me about the book. Let's start off with why a prayer devotion.
Well, years ago, the Lord was dealing with me in the area of prayer, and He had instructed me to do a prayer conference for our church. And in preparation for that conference, just to try to get the women, it was for the women of the church, but the men got involved to just to get them into prayer mode. Every morning, I would send them a text message for 40 days, and the text message was on some aspect of prayer, or some scripture, some type of encouragement, just to push them to pray even more, and also to prepare them for the conference. And what happened was that the people were blessed by the my little text messages, and so blessed they were forwarding it out to family and friends. And then I started to, get feedback from them like, "Oh, you need to write a book. You really need to. This is just so good. You need to write a book." And after I had heard it for a few times, and that's the manner in which God speaks to me anyway. There's repetition. I see and hear things in multiple places in multiple ways. I said, you know what, I can do this. And it was pretty simple, taking those text messages and kind of revamping them into devotionals, and putting it all together in a book.
That's amazing. That's a good story. I'm happy that you obeyed, and I'm happy that you listened.
Yes.
Because just from what I saw in the book, it's really blessed my soul. So, tell folks a little bit about how the book is set up and what you are expecting it to do for people.
And so I am a lover of quotes. I love quotes. And part of my own personal prayer journey, I would constantly look up quotes on prayer, and they were so encouraging to me. And so I used quotes that I found in order to kind of jumpstart the devotional. So every single devotional or devotion in the book starts with a quote or a saying that somebody has said. It could be, a random person from Google, or even a person that I know that have come to our conferences, or something from a prayer book that I've written. And those quotes have inspired me to think deeply about prayer, to pray deeply, and to write deeply. And so I've taken those and began to write and journal what the Lord gives me. And that's something that's always powerful when you read the Word of God or you hear different things. And if you take the time to journal, you will find that the more that you write is the more God gives you to write. And so when I did that, God was, downloading more information and more encouragement through me on paper and pen that I could pass on to others. And so that is how it is set up. Some of the quotes that you would see, I would think most of them will make you pause and think, wow, because that was the impact that it had on me. And that is the push that caused me to write and to write well on them.
That's amazing. Um, what was what was your favorite part about putting this book together?
I think putting the actual each devotion together, because it started out as a text message and because I was sending it out 5, 6 a.m. for 40 days straight, it was like a task. And so usually, once I finished the text message and I felt satisfied on the inside, that felt good. But when I went back to turn it into a book and I was, trying to grab, and this is like 5 years worth of writing
Wow.
because we have done the prayer conference for about 4 years. The year 2020, we didn't get to do it because of the pandemic. So, but we were still doing the prep work, and at the last minute, we kind of canceled the conference. But trying to go back and grab 5 years worth of writing and devotions, I came in contact with things that I forgot I wrote, things that have blessed me at the time that I wrote them, and it was blessing me even more now that I looked back. I was encouraging myself. I had text some of the women in the church to, go back in their phones, find some of the things that I sent to them, see if you can send it back to me. And one woman even commented that she was just blessed reading back over things that were 3 or 4 and 5 years old. So that was my favorite part, looking at it and having that feeling that this was good work. It was God breathed work, and that it could possibly impact the world.
And impact the world it will do. I believe it shall. I believe it shall. So tell folks a little bit about your prayer journey. We know that prayer is important. I love to ask people the question, what does prayer mean to you and
Mhm.
how do you pray? So let the folks know a little bit about your prayer journey and what prayer means to you.
Okay, so I wrote an introduction in Morning Fire, the book that kind of explains that journey. And I talked about how I was, born and raised in the church. I'm a preacher's kid, I'm a preacher's wife. And so church was always part of my life. And if church was a part of my life, so was prayer. And being in the church, if you're born and raised in the church, you get to a point after a while where you become serious with God one on one. It's no longer you're going to church and choir rehearsal because your parents are making you, but you are in it because you are in this relationship with Christ. And I remember for a period of time, I just kept feeling this tug from God to pray. And this tug was so like in your face to the point where every time I went to church, somebody got up to preach. They were preaching on prayer. When I would turn on the TV, the televangelists that were on, they would speak about prayer. Even if the whole message wasn't about prayer, there was just this component of the message. And each time that I heard it, it just pricked my heart, touched me, um, it nudged me, it convicted me, it pushed me. And I became just fascinated. God just put this burden and this desire deep down for me to pray. And I can remember sitting in church thinking, when the pastor gets up, and one of the times was our convocation, and Bishop Morris got up to preach. And I said, if this man preaches about prayer, and guess what? He sure did. I mean, that, and I was blessed by the entire message. And when things like that happen, I just have to say, Lord, I hear you. And And I mentioned earlier that I like quotes. I began looking up quotes on prayer, and those quotes just led me to certain authors that I would read. E.M. Bounds. Um, E.M. Bounds is from another century, born and raised and lived and died before I was even on this planet. But his work with prayer was so impressive um, that I just dove into his books. And his books had a way of, you would read a little bit, and then it would just push you to go down in prayer. Just knowing the power of prayer and the things that come about by prayer. I was fascinated by the individuals in the Bible who lived on prayer and who, um, miracles were wrought in their life on prayer. And so I found myself going to just another level, a deeper level, and beginning to pray even more. And then The War Room came out, that movie. And so when I saw the trailer for it, I said, oh, I got to see this. I got to see this movie. It was right up my alley. And I went and I was just in the movie, just fascinated with the power of God, the power of prayer. I must have gone back to see that movie about three or four more times. And each time I'm like taking other people with me and inviting the church, inviting family and friends. And that movie pushed me to actually start my own little war room. So I have a master bathroom, and what I would do, I started putting up prayers on the back of the bathroom door, and would just go in there and just call out to God and pray over different things and pray the scriptures, put the scriptures up there. And I just had this strong desire to pray. There was a woman on my job who, was experiencing, a family emergency with sickness with a family member. And, people say the regular, okay, I'm going to pray for you. And I remember feeling like, oh, I'm going to really pray for her. And I waited until after work and I went to her and I said, listen, I know everybody says they're going to pray for you, but I want you to know that I'm really going to pray for you. Give me your family member's name because I have a prayer wall and I'm going to just call his name out and I want you to keep me posted. And she did that. She gave me his name. She thanked me, and she was pretty distraught over what was going on with his health. And I went home and truly just prayed over him and prayed the scriptures over him. And I would go to work and she would say, Gaskin, guess what? And every time she talked to me, it was a praise report. And I said, good. And then the Lord would give me some things to say to her. Like, and I would tell her, tell your brother-in-law this, tell him this, tell him to do this. I don't know where his level is in God, but he needs to do this. And she said, all right, I'm going to tell him. And he was so grateful and open that, someone that didn't even know him was praying for him, that he did exactly what I said. That man is walking in health today. He really is. And I could go over story after story after story after story of what God has done through prayer. And it just encouraged me and has emboldened me to continue to pray and to keep that prayer wheel turning and to stay in that closet. And that journey is, not over. Now, are there days where I feel like, oh my goodness, I'm so busy? Yes, those are the days that I pick up, my little prayer books, the ones that have set me on fire, and I'll read. It takes like maybe a paragraph, and guess what? I'm back to, praying deeply to the Lord.
That's amazing. Uh, it's just amazing what prayer can do. The power of prayer, how prayer works, and for folks that say, I don't believe prayer really changes things. I just think they aren't looking correctly. It
Yeah.
could be the most smallest thing. You know,
Mhm.
it could be your toenail turned the right color again. Just something small, or that hair that's always out of place. It laid flat today.
Yes.
Just the littlest things are answered prayers. One question I have for you that I really want you to talk about is uh why why now? Why put this and publish this and put it out now? Why not just keep it text message? And in this time of social media, it could have
Mhm.
easily been a social post every
Yeah.
day. why choose to put it in the brick and mortar paper book?
I think, with the text messages, it was reaching a small audience, which was our church, and it was doing wonders in our church. And text messages are so they're common. There's something that you can do, just shoot it out. And I felt like it was time to go to a bigger platform.
Mm,
And now is the time, because now it is overdue, actually. It has been maybe 3, 4 years that I've been saying, hey, I need to move on this. Because at the time when people were saying, you need to really write a book, that was probably the first year.
wow.
And so I said, okay, yeah, I do need to. And just life just got in the way. I'm busy. I got these 3 boys. I'm a full time teacher. I'm a pastor's wife. My mother had a health crisis. It just seemed like everything got in the way. And what I started to see was everybody around me was coming out with books. And each time they did, I felt, the Lord telling me, you're supposed to be doing that too. You're making all these excuses, and if they could do it, you can do it too. And so, what I started to do was to kind of sow into other people. Like if they came out with a book, I'm going to buy your book. Shame on me that I didn't get mine out, but I'm going to sow into what you're doing, and I need to get started on what I'm doing. And so I think that the pandemic was an excellent time because the world was put on pause. Everything came to a stop. And it was a time for people to get back to, laying before the Lord, talking to the Lord. So this book would be perfect for that time. And also the creating of the book would be perfect for that time, because now there's no excuses. I'm not driving all the way to work. I'm working, online, and there's a little bit more time. There's a little less stress. Um, and so if I were to enter into the pandemic and realize some things and learn some things and come out the same way, shame on me. So I was determined that, as we are exiting out, and even though it seems like we're in a standstill, a marking time right now, but as we are here and I've learned some things and I've moved to some different levels, this was the perfect time to come out different. It doesn't make sense to go in, one way and come out the same way, but we need to be in a place where, after God has taught us some things, that we're in a different place, a different level in Him.
That's true. That's true. I agree. And this is the perfect time. This is
Mhm.
exactly the perfect time because nobody's doing nothing.
Yes,
So you have no choice.
that's
You,
true.
you
That's
have
true.
no reason to say you can't do it.
So,
Um, what is the one thing you want people to take away most from Morning Fire?
I want them to take away that your life does not have to be the way it is. That your prayers can catapult your life into a different direction. The trajectory of your life can be changed just from you diving into that gold mine of prayer. I want them to know that you don't have to be an eloquent speaker. You don't have to be someone that is, well known. God wants to speak to you, not just you speak to Him, but He desires to speak to each and every one of us. And that just the smallest effort to connect with Him, the smallest effort to pray would do wonders. The enemy, he's already defeated. He's already on the losing side. We are already winners, and the enemy knows that. And I would love for people to know that for themselves. And the minute and the second that we know it, and we know that we can pray, and that prayer will change us and it will change things. Um, I think that we will have a different perspective on life. Will everything be wonderful? Nope. But you'll be able to get through it because you prayed. Will everything be perfect? No. Will everything go exactly the way you want it to go? No. But it's going to go perfectly because you're in a prayer relationship with God. It'll make all the difference in the world. I remember the first year we did the prayer conference, and the theme was get prayed up, be prayed up, and stay prayed up.
Ooh,
And I remember we were praying so much, and I, had them praying, and I'm sending these texts that one of my speakers, like a day or two before the conference, just backed out. I had already been kind of chasing her, and she hadn't been responding, and she backed out. And I remember when she did, I was at peace. I didn't feel like, oh my goodness, what am I going to do? And I knew that feeling came about because of prayer. And it let me know that even that if you're at the brink of destruction, you're at the brink of a fiery furnace, if you could just get that prayer in and get that prayer life rolling, your total perspective on things will be just different. You will see things the way God sees them, and the way He sees them is you're victorious. You already won. You're just going through, the process right now, but the victory is already yours.
that's right. The victory is already ours. Before I let you go, please again let the people know the name of your book, where they can get the book, and how to keep in contact with you.
Yes. So the book is Morning Fire, and I have a subtitle which is Igniting Passion, Power, and Purpose in Your Prayer Life. And you can get the book if you're local. You can cash at me. The book is only $12. My cash app is $prayer lady V. Prayer lady V. I do have other methods of payment: Venmo, check, cash, whatever. You can just reach out to me. My website is vanessamgaskin.com. If you go through my website and purchase the book, it will come directly from the printing company. If you come through me, I will be able to sign it. All right. I'm going to just touch and agree with God and His word and prayer, and think of what to put there for that signature, and you can get that book. The books arrived today. And so I'm going to be doing a lot of driving and delivery this weekend, and mailing off and getting books back into people's hands that were so gracious to already purchase it.
And where can they come to purchase it? What's the address of the church? Is that where you
They
will
could
be
do the
direct?
address of the church, which is 5949 Spruce Street. We're on the corner of 60th and Spruce. You can reach out to me on Facebook. I'm there as Lady V Devotional. Instagram is Lady V Devotional, and also have Vanessa M Chambers Gaskin. Any way that you can, reach on out and get this book. This is just volume one. Volume two is already going to be in the works. So get this while you can.
Lady Gaskins, certainly again, thank you for hanging out with me and talking about prayer. I am so excited for your book. I cannot wait to get my copy and for you to sign it.
Yes.
I certainly cannot wait. Again, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
Always,
Yeah,
anytime.
this is
Anytime.
awesome.
All right, folks. Again, that was Lady Vanessa M. Gaskins. She wrote a book, y'all, a prayer devotional to be exact, called Morning Fire. Be sure to go get it. You can pick it up at their church, Living Waters Christian Center, which is at 60th and Spruce, or you can go to her website at vanessamgaskins.com. You do not want to keep going in life without this book. I promise you, it will bless your soul. I'm Kayla J, though, y'all, and this is my gospel hour. It's time to get right back to the music right here on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.